Tonight on Podcast Them Down, we are continuing our Discography review with the next Judas Priest album, Hellbent for Leather.
Podcast Them Down.
Hail Metal Nation, it is I, Tim. Wait.
We got a breaking banner that says Timmy loves Judas Priest.
And, that's Matt, and that is Doug. And, yeah, I mean, Judas Priest is number one. So we're fresh off a Stained Class. Okay, you know, we're just plowing through them. There definitely was no delay.
Yeah. It's hard to record so many episodes in one night, but damn it, we love Priest and we're doing it.
What was your favorite thing about the Stained Class episode?
How hilarious we were.
Well, that's all of them.
I think my reference to the Judas Priest song "Brain Dead" and the thing I did playing that song that I wouldn't do now.
Yeah,
I liked how all of our takes were tough but fair.
Yes, I remember all of these things very well.
My goal tonight is sit back, run back my car, drink a few beers, and pick on some unsuspecting victims.
I'm sorry, you're at the Caps.
Man.
Matt is at the Cap Center, so
Yeah, I am right here,
right in Largo,
Landover, Maryland.
It's an older crowd now.
All right, so
I've been yeah, I love that.
now if I remember fresh in my mind our structure here, I will begin with the background of Killing Machine / Hellbent for Leather. But first, I do need to brag that this is one of the few albums I actually have on vinyl.
Look at that.
Is that Hellbent or Killing?
Yes, it is one of those.
Is that
I bought it
vinyl?
I bought it in the United States of A, so it is Hellbent for Leather, but we'll get there. So after Stained Class, all right, the timeline is interesting on this. After Stained Class was released in February 1978, Judas Priest toured the UK and US from March to May, and then Japan in July and August. They had 1 month off. And then in August, they entered the studio. So, Killing Machine came out in November that year. So that's two 1978 albums, which can be fun if you're sorting your albums, in like your digital library. You don't put in the full release date. It can screw things up. Anyway.
Unless you're American, then we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
This is the first Judas Priest album where Glenn Tipton incorporated the guitar technique of tapping into his solo style, which had been popularized by Eddie Van Halen earlier that year with their debut album. So then he brings the tapping into Hellbent for Leather and Killing Machine, which are songs on the album Hellbent for Leather or Killing Machine. They, according to this source, which I believe is Wikipedia, Judas Priest began moving to a more accessible commercial format that abandoned the complex fantasy-themed songs of their previous 3 albums. While this album still had dark undertones, it was more grounded in realism. This was reflected in their change of stage costumes from flowing gothic robes to leather, but was also a reaction to the rising punk and new wave movements. KK Downing had expressed doubts about the new wave of British heavy metals, stating, quote, "Everybody was totally dedicated to having their own show, their own images. Priest were part of the influence on the new wave of British heavy metal, but not part of it." I think that's why it's so much better. The band's new, simpler sound was the result of several factors, including a desire to compete with punk rock, produce songs that were easier to perform live, and also appeal more to American audiences. So they pulled a Metallica long before Metallica did.
I also like the notion of like, oh man, we're gonna have to play this shit like more than once ever. Damn it.
Well, spoiler alert, they don't.
And it's also because I think even I generically would describe like British Steel as the Black Album equivalent, but it really does start here.
Yeah, let's see. It was we're on to the information. It was released November 1978, recorded in August at Utopia Studios and CBS Studios in London, running length 3506. Columbia was the record label, and it was produced by Judas Priest and James Guthrie.
Oh, is that Woody's son?
Yes.
Nice.
So, lineup, your classic Priest lineup. Rob Halford on vocals, KK Downing on guitars, Glenn Tipton on guitars, and keys on Before the Dawn, Ian Hill on bass, and Les Binks on drums.
More rhythm, less Binks.
Let's see, the cover design was by the same guy as the last few. So I never figured out how to say this. It's ROSL with a slash AW. Roslov?
Polish? Yeah, Roslov. I think it's a L sound.
Zabo. And photography by some guy. All right, track list.
I believe he designed the logo, and he's just a house CBS Records art guy. Like, it's a different world than it is recently. He just got the assignment.
That's kind of amazing. He's like,
He goes to work. It's like his inbox is like, heavy metal album.
But his inbox is literally a box that just has, here's your assignment.
Right.
On like a typed piece of paper.
All right. Track list. Side 1, Delivering the Goods. Rock Forever. We'll go through the songs in a bit. Rock Forever. Evening Star. Hellbent for Leather. Take on the World. Burning Up. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. Oh, sorry. Side 2 starts with Burning Up.
Yeah.
Burning Up. Sorry. Burning Up.
Burning.
The Green Man Alicia with the 2-prong crown. Unless you have Killing Machine. Well, the original pressing.
An early pressing.
Right.
Of Killing Machine.
All right. Then Killing Machine, Running Wild, Before the Dawn, and Evil Fantasies. No one cares about the 2001 bonus tracks. They're not even from the right era. I don't understand why they did this.
Hey, they got to sell records, Tim.
Oh, I didn't actually do because the one song, Fight for Your Life, not to be confused with Fight of Your Life from Invincible Shield, they appears on Screaming as the much better Rock Hard Ride Free. But if it's not even recorded from this era, yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, it was recorded during the Screaming for Vengeance sessions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other song is Riding on the Wind, which isn't on this album, and was recorded live in 83. So it's just like, so I don't understand the bonus tracks. You couldn't find anything?
No, I think it's just like the Bob Marley album model where like, oh shit, all of our old records are on MP3, are on Napster.com, right? So we need to make sure that we have something new so the kids will buy them instead of downloading it off of Napster.com.
Well, I think it all started with the practices with Japanese releases, which for whatever reason are much more expensive there and come out much later. So that's why all the bonus songs are in Japan. It's to get people there to buy the record and not import it traditionally.
I went to Napster.com. It's still there. It's a music service now.
Oh man, I hope it's like a online mattress store.
It's $10.99 a month.
Well, that sounds great.
It's almost, it was popular before. Why not? You know what everyone likes is our content. So much that they'll pay for it.
Oh, God.
Anyway, facts and trivia, even though I don't know why I separate out the facts and trivia when I've already given you some, but here's some more. Why is it called Hellbent for Leather in the US? There was a controversy. Okay, so it was retitled Hellbent for Leather for its US release in February 1979 due to controversy. Yeah, so it took a whole year. It came out in the UK as Killing Machine in November of 78. It came out in the US as Hellbent for Leather in February of the following year. So they changed the name due to a controversy over the Cleveland Elementary School shooting, because that's America. However, singer Rob Halford simply said that their US label found Killing Machine too much of a heavy statement to use and suggested the alternative title to the band. It was feared that the murderous implications of the original title would be too much for the larger record retailers to want to put the LP on its racks. Both titles of the album are drawn from the titles of songs on the album, and then they added the Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown to the US release, and then on re-releases they added it to Killing Machine. The band members adopted their now famous leather and studs fashion image, inspired by Rob Halford's interest in leather culture.
Where did that interest come from?
KK Downing claims the leather was all him.
Sure.
I'm
KK Downing says a lot of things.
Well, the world's been very unfair to him, so he has to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love how it came from Rob Halford's liking leather and dudes in leather, and it became iconic of heavy metal in a whole, and it just works, and everyone went with it.
Oh,
and
sure did.
Yeah. And I mean, I got my leather jacket. Everyone does. It's great. So thank you, Rob Halford. Anyway, it's the band's last studio album to feature drummer Les Binks. Hellbent for Leather reflected their newly adopted leather costumes, as well as Rob Halford's soon-to-be trademark entrances on riding a Harley-David motorcycle onto the stage. Now,
Or a Triumph in the UK.
Yeah, I was about to say, where did he get that Harley from in England?
yeah, I love that because he, you can just see the Spinal Tap moment when he misses the break and runs into Ian Hill.
That's what happened to Les Binks.
I think there's a story about that happening in Painkiller, like he fell off the bike or something and no one noticed because there's too much smoke. And one of the things that he's like, I'm done with this for a while.
I feel like that's probably why no one really batted an eye with all the leather, because leather was also associated with, bikers. And
Yeah.
now suddenly there's a motorcycle. That's, everyone's like, oh, yeah, leather,
Tracks.
motorcycle, tracks.
The whips,
Wheels.
and the studs.
Well, bikers have whips too.
Yeah. That's how you get the bike to go faster.
All right, maybe, just throwing this out there, maybe 100% of bikers are gay.
Right? Possible.
Prove me wrong, bikers.
I don't think.
All right. Well, there's a South Park episode I can point you to. Anyway, man, remember when South Park was good and had the, shelf life of wine, and now it has the shelf life of, I don't know.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. No, Bud Light is indestructible.
Oh. Bud Light Lime.
Let's see. All right, last fact. Then we'll move on to the tracks. The single Take on the World was an attempt at producing a stadium shout-along tune in the mold of, can you guess? Who are they trying to emulate?
Kiss. Knights in Satan's Service Kiss? Was it
Good
Detroit
guess.
Rock City?
Good guess, but guess again. Doug probably knows.
I was fading in and out, so I don't even know what we're doing.
Big. Take on the World was supposed to be a big anthem, for arenas for the crowd to sing along. Who else did that?
Elton John, Tiny Dancer.
Oh, but he also had a biopic around the same time.
Oh. Hold on. Wait a minute. He's from Mauritius, isn't he? His name is Zanzibar Joe, but we called him Frederick Mercury.
That's right. It's Queen's "We Will Rock You." That's what it was. That's what they were attempting to do, and we'll get to it later. But judging by how many times they play it, didn't really pan out that way. All right.
And Freddie Mercury famously uses a microphone stand without the bass.
Right.
So he can hold out to the crowd, all that, but there's never a bass.
Yeah, Chuck Billy did that too. I assume just ripping off Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Halford did it in the 70s and does it as an homage to Queen in the Painkiller video.
Cool. What a great video that is, but that's a future episode. That is like, if every video was just that, life would be a better place.
Which song was that?
Right, really. All right, so let's go through the tracks on this album. So opens with Delivering the Goods. So right away, you can still tell they got the bluesy thing still going on, but they're still trending towards the peak metalness of Painkiller. It's just, the upward trend. I never really got punk out of this album. I got heavy blues / metal. That's what I got from this album.
Well, and I think, this will appear several times throughout this album, but I've used the analogy of the fish crawling up onto land. I think now we're like some kind of like mostly terrestrial amphibian thing, but it just occasionally does like some weird ass fish stuff. And I'm like, what? Wait, why don't you have fleshy shells on your eggs? Why are you going to that pond, Mr. Salamander? And so like the bass, it's not so much on side 2, but this track, a few others on this side, just seem to have like a inappropriate walking kind of bass line that's not heavy metal to me.
There was one song, I'm sure when we get to it, I'll bring it up because I got my notes here. But it's like no one was doing much except Ian Hill was playing every note possible.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. There's tambourine in the song. Some soaring Halford. And then it ends with this amazing drum fill, which I feel like is just a premonition of all the fantastic drumming to come that Iron Maiden never achieved.
Yeah, though they might now. We'll see.
Zing. So that's delivering the goods.
We got to talk about the lyrics. And again, yeah, you're the music guy. I do the lyrics. It's about the lyrics are about the band dominating you.
The goods are like a wiener?
No, I think it's the music.
Yeah, they come into town. They, no hesitating. My body's aching, looking for some action satisfaction all night. Charging, vein-faced, has acted as 100 solid proof. Megaton, Leviathan, we're ready to hit the roof. You better watch out and hold on tight. We're heading your way like dynamite, delivering the goods. Delivering the goods.
I believe it's delivering the goods, Doug.
Shake down, rock 'em boys, crack that whip strap mean. Pulse rate, airwaves, battle wise in every place we've been. So this is like a Manowar song, but without the language quite yet.
Oh, dude, there's several other places where I think they directly inspired Manowar.
Oh, absolutely.
On this album.
Yeah, and I would say the opening track of Ram It Down is like 100% metal version of this.
Nice.
We'll get there.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, we'll get there. All right, Rock Forever. It's still bluesy, but this one has very prominent double kick, which, again, Iron Maiden never achieves. See, and I'm bringing this up, the comparison to Iron Maiden, because Judas Priest is wrongfully, by some people, looked down upon versus Iron Maiden. And so far, they have done no wrong. Judas Priest has done no wrong. And I bet they're going to continue this trajectory and have, via our objective ratings of each album, they're going to come out on top. And no one can ever say that Iron Maiden as a whole is better than Judas Priest ever again, because it's going to not be true.
They were bringing double kick drums into metal in 76.
Yeah. So it was it wasn't even new news on Hellbent for Leather / Killing Machine. Yep. So, they do, there's a way they recorded, Rob's vocals with the harmonies and everything that still makes it sound 70s.
Yeah.
But it's It's leaning into that 80s sound, but it's
And he has some kind of like squeals and sustains, but it's again, there's some filter or some way they're recording where it feels tinny and hollow. You don't really get the full throated sustain.
yep.
I can't necessarily qualify this, but this feels much more 80s than Delivering the Goods. Like it's on the cusp. And, you know, speaking of on the cusp, it's another song that's about the protagonist being sensorially dominated by metal.
Yes.
Don't quite have the language for that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when the
this
day is over, I like to ease my mind by juicing up my system with the beat of a heavy kind. I smack a bottle open, I crank the hi-fi high. I'm in seventh heaven, I can touch the sky. It starts moving into me just how I can't explain. It's like brilliant sunshine after standing in the pouring rain.
I love it.
It also cures depression too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But while pounding your senses flat.
Yeah, the most important parts.
All right. Next track, Evening Star. So we've had 2 songs about metal that have just been kind of driving, and then this one starts with a clean intro, changes it up. This is the song where I was saying the bass is busier than everyone else by a mile in parts of it.
Now, I was disappointed because I thought this was going to be the song that Apu sang in the Streetcar Named Desire play, but it's not. Even though he's collecting for the Evening Star, different Evening Star apparently.
Well, now I'm thinking of the Simpsons Streetcar Named Desire musical. Yeah, so this eventually kicks in with like one of those earworm choruses.
And yeah, it's just another mid-tempo rocker once you get past the kind of proggy AOR opening.
I mean, I think the solo break is pretty good though.
I totally agree that the highlight of this song is the lead guitars in the middle and just how they compose that whole section. And then it goes into like a quiet bridge and then dun, 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 Evening Star afterwards. Again,
It was somewhat Iron Maiden-y where I'm just like, here we
yeah, some things overstay their welcome, but then they modulate up towards the end, and it gets Halford in that range where he's just like he's got to shift gears, and his voice has a more intense quality while it's fading out.
If it was an Iron Maiden song, it would just be the chorus again. At least there's like an up modulation and a tempo change. So at least the outro is a genuine outro, not just like a redux ad infinitum, like going on forever.
And we do get the music enriched by some soon-to-be gratuitous keyboards. And I believe it's Don Airy of Deep Purple and Sabbath. I think he's done basically all of the Priest keyboards, even though he's not usually credited.
Neat. Yeah, he wasn't in the credit. You got lyrics to talk about?
It's about the guiding light. The source of the light, I think, is a little ambiguous.
Wasn't Satan the evening star? No, that's the morning star.
Lucifer, but
I've lost guys trying to be found, turn around, kind of ethereal, like hard to say whether it's meant to be literal. And this maybe about to hit the rocks and turned away.
What's wild to me about this was the third single.
oh wow.
And you know what was never a single? Hellbent for Leather, which is the next song. So this one starts with like this instantly recognizable synth thing going on. It sounds like the world's ending. And again, this is another preview of Judas Priest to come. And there's something about, I don't know if it's the performance or the tempo or what, but there's tons of energy in this song. Makes you want to go and, I don't know, ride a motorcycle real fast. Yeah. And I also like the line, from where he comes.
Well, it seems to be about some entity, some kind of entity that challenges you in the highway.
Well, I just meant the grammatic construction of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of gothic, but like a metal sounding way.
So the guitar solo for this just comes right out with the tapping, the Eddie Van Halen style tapping, which happened earlier in the year. It's amazing. It's a very simple guitar technique, but it sounds so much more complicated and impressive than it is. And I think that's why Eddie Van Halen, everyone started doing it the second that album came out, because this is all he's doing, and then it's everywhere, and it's still everywhere. Yeah. So
the in and out at 2 minutes 39 seconds. Even with
this is a perfect
It's amazing.
perfect radio song.
Ideal.
Why wasn't it a single? We're tripping over ourselves to agree.
I mean, especially if it's like the second and or official album name. Like, why would you name the album in America Hellbent for Leather if you weren't going to release it as a song? Don't you usually release the titular song?
Well, they didn't release Killing Machine as a single either.
Yeah, it makes it even okay. I guess it's even Stevens.
Yeah.
It's just these weird ass arena rock songs that they don't play. Probably what they thought people wanted.
Well, speaking of arena rock songs, that'd be next.
Great.
Take on the World, which was the second single. So it's got this, I don't know, there's no cymbals in the drum line. The drum line is just like bass and snare. There's one guitar. I'm not sure if there's probably bass, but there's like a big chorus, and like we said before, it's designed so the whole crowd sings it. But by the end of the song, the chorus. So if it's your first time seeing Priest, you're gonna join in and sing along. But I guess it didn't really work out that way, which we'll get to.
It's too complicated. Like, We Will Rock You is very simple.
Yeah.
I guess it's about sort of amplifying our voices, the collective power of rock, which in order to do, you need to be in communion with Judas Priest.
Yeah, but it's just like, the problem is its beat is like a chugga 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 chugga, not a tuck tuck tick tot tot tick. It's too musically complex for dummies.
No,
The
it's
guitar
like
is so subdued. It's like a Depeche Mode guitar part or something.
it's like Mike Portnoy can't not play complicated.
Right? Yeah.
Is that?
Or it's like when Homer was improvising and kept singing like Mary Had a Little Lamb.
There is a break. I think it's towards the end of the bridge where there's a great ping pong delay. Ping pong delay is, if you don't know, is when there's a word and then it comes in on the right and then it comes in on the left. And so it's a stereo effect that you can like filter and pan different ways. But that's called a ping pong delay. And they used it like, this is the textbook use of it in this song. It's like 2/3 of the way through the song if you're looking for it. My last thing I'll say about this is this is another Manowar song. This is Fighting the World. This is what became Fighting the World by Manowar. It ends with a gong, which I think is weird, which Manowar wouldn't have done.
I did like the gong.
All right, and that's the end of side 1, if I remember correctly. So flip the record over, and it starts with Burning Up, which opens with a weird synth sound. That it just are they fucking with people? So they flip over the record and they think their hi-fi's screwed up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of delay between the two songs. I forget which track they tacked that on the CD, but
Like 6.
Also the chord that fades in before Burning Up kicks in. I'm pretty sure Anathema used that exact same chord. And I bring it up because it's a weird voicing of something. I want to say Fine Day to Exit is the album where that same chord shows up. And maybe one day I'll play them side by side for you, but that day is not today. Anyway, I wrote that the synth sound at the beginning sounds like a hearing test.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
was
like
like,
really high pitched tones.
you know, because I'm in my mid 40s now. I was like, maybe I heard this track when I was in my 20s and heard a lot more. I was like, what? Where? Hello? Where's the track?
And it's kind of
Maybe
Kinda
that's
Pink
why I
Floyd-y,
didn't notice
maybe.
anything.
um
I for Judas Priest has only done a few like horny songs.
yeah,
This is probably the best.
yeah, he's got this raunchy, vaguely Louis Armstrong sounding tone to his voice a couple times in
And
this
it's
song.
much more consensual than Eat Me Alive. We'll get to that.
Eat. All right, next track. If you have Hellbent for Leather or not, the original pressing of Killing Machine is the Green Manalishi with the 2-prong crown. So,
Does that make any sense?
no. And so this is a cover.
Yeah.
It's a Fleetwood Mac cover. And I think there are 2 bands that are just masters of taking another song and making it amazing, making it their own style. And that's Judas Priest and Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely a great treatment of a mediocre song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what makes it work is the bass and drums. So the bass are really doing this pushing sound. And I think that's also why it works so well live, because this song became like a staple in their live set. And so it is on Unleashed in the East, which technically is the next record we would be doing if we're doing the live albums.
Yeah. Only live albums released on a CD or only ones released as audio primarily or equally to the video release.
Got it.
I mean, what Doug says is gospel, so there we are.
Yeah. So, yeah, fantastic song. I think this was the last song that Peter Green wrote when he was in
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac, and then he left. And
It's got a great sinister groove. The Priest version certainly. I said the lyrics are sort of devilish. I didn't bother figuring out what the Green Manalishi is.
I mean, it's
think-
just him like tripping on acid, probably.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think he said even he's not sure what it's about, but
I don't know, man. I was high as fuck.
But the Green Manalishi is the green meaning money, and it's supposedly about greed, but I feel like he's just trying to explain.
Is the Manalishi even a word?
No.
Okay.
But I can picture a 2-prong crown.
Okay, like devil horns, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was kind of thinking more in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, fantastic song. It was the 4th single. All right, next up is Killing Machine.
Killing Machine.
Killing Machine. This kind of reminds me of Burning Up in terms of the sleazy vocal performance. But it's a little bit more sparse, but it just like sounds like it belongs on the album. It's bluesy, you know. There's nothing new in this song at this point in the track list.
It's a little more interesting than I remember it being. I think the last third of the song, especially. There's some weird vocals, if I recall.
Yeah, but also it's weird. There's a hard stop before the bridge,
Yeah.
and then I thought a new song started. But it turns out no, it's just the bridge.
Kind of short.
And he holds this note for a long time. So the hard stop is right before the guitar solo, and he just holds a note for an almost comically long time. And I was hoping that was the whole solo, because Kirk Hammett famously had the 1-note solo on Saint Anger,
Oh yeah.
but I was hoping Judas Priest beat him to it, but but no, there were more notes after that one very long note. But it just kind of ends fast and suddenly. So
Yeah. Well,
if
in and out in 3 minutes, 2 seconds.
if this song is about a killing machine, then why does he need a contract though?
It's about a ruthless, amoral hitman
Okay.
who goes down to town and has no guiding principles other than money.
The Green Manalishi.
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Next is Running Wild. So this song is not about pirates.
So
And I bring that up.
I think the band probably acknowledges getting their name from this song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think Running Wild's first album wasn't about pirates. I think they just like found pirates and said, "Hey, this is great," and then they just stayed with pirates the whole time. But so this song starts with a riff that Iron Maiden steals, and 22 years later, it's the opening for The Wicker Man. So I hope KK should be complaining about that. Give me that songwriting credit instead of whining that. Anyway, and again, this is another. I feel like it's stock for this album. And that's not a complaint. It's just like it fits well. They hit it. It's the same feel as the rest of the album. I don't think this song is great enough to name your band after, but what do I know?
Yeah, I think it's one of the songs from this album that they continue to play regularly.
There's a great Halford scream in the fade out. I don't know why they put it there. Maybe fade out later. I don't know.
The lyrics are about dominating life, I would say.
How many domination songs?
Hypomanic state or on some severe uppers, but
all right. The next,
I taste the life that pleases me and raise a storm for all the world to see. I never stumble, never fall, never stop for rest. I rebel, but I walk tall and I demand respect.
Nice. I'm running wild. All right.
Next free. Oh, wait, different song.
The next song, it was the first single. It's the ballad. This is Before the Dawn. So it starts with acoustic guitars and some electric piano. This is not very Judas Priest sounding. But the chorus, especially, I think, is incredibly well written. There's really satisfying chord changes. Mm-hmm. There's a nice long build until they get to the guitar solo, and then after the guitar solo, they do the chorus again, but it's bigger than it was in the rest of it. Then there's kind of a bit of a letdown. Yeah, they come back down in the energy towards the end of the song.
Yeah, it's a good song, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a Judas Priest song that I would think of. And again, that's part of this like still transitional form here. Like these are some eggs laid in a cool pond rather than in a mound of dirt. Like, what is this? I like it, but I don't know what this is.
Yeah, kind of proggy lyrics. Like, I guess it's about a lover not wanting their lover to leave them, but it feels like time outside of time. They gods. One night, 100 years. Hard to say. Mm-hmm. I'll say Ralph Sheepers. Am I saying that right, Tim?
I think so.
Yeah. He apparently loves this song because he puts it on his solo album and does all the instrumentation himself.
Oh, that's cool. I wish he'd do the next song.
God.
All right, so the album closes with Evil Fantasies. So this is slow and heavy and raunchy, and Rob Halford's trying to do his Ethel Merman impression. And Manowar heard this and said, "This sounds as greasy as I look." It doesn't really go anywhere for me, this song, but the tambourine that I brought up in the first song makes its triumphant return in Evil Fantasies.
Yeah, it's I was going to say it's not quite filler, but I guess it literally is. It's not offensive. It's interesting, sort of. The weird vocals, the sleazy, unfocused lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like...
It is greasy. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I got statistics to close out this episode.
Okay.
Before we vote on the amount of times they've played these live. However, I haven't updated them in quite a while, and I believe they've been playing shows. So I'm going to get you updated numbers. All right, here we go. This does not include the Green Manalishi, so I'm going to need to fix that. All right, I found that number. Here we go. So this song, let's see. This album, they have never played. It looks like they've never played Burning Up. Man, I got to look in two places at once. Evening Star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. So those are the two songs they've never played. Then increasing in popularity is Killing Machine, Evil Fantasies. I kind of would like to see Evil Fantasies live. Fantasies! Take on the World, they only played 26 times. And that's why I kept saying, I don't think it really went anywhere. They must have tried it on the tour that followed the album and then just kind of, I guess that didn't work and then move on. Rock Forever, also at 26 times. Delivering the Goods, 75 times. Running Wild, 129 times. So I think that's the one you said they brought back.
Yeah, they definitely have played it within the last decade.
All right, then the second most would be, they've played this more than Diamonds and Rust. The Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown at 1,110 times. And then Hellbent for Leather, obviously staple of the set, 1,433 times. Hellbent for Leather is the most played song off this album at Judas Priest concerts. Okay, so we need to close the album with this episode with a rating.
Oh, it's a collective score, right?
That's right. We all agree on a single score, which therefore makes it objective. So just to calibrate and remind you, so far we gave Rock and Roll a 5, Sad Wings of Destiny 7, Sin After Sin 7, Stained Class 8. So I would start with this is better than Stained Class, but not amazingly better.
You think
Stained Class still had some like weird shit on it. And this also has weird shit, but not as
the
weird.
highs on Stained Class are much higher.
Oh. Well, if I could go to the artist and look up Stained Class again,
I'm
even
just
though
gonna
we
throw it out.
just
It's a
listened to
7.
it. 7. I would go 8.
I think I agree with Doug that it's more. This is okay. This is a more consistent album. It's a more consistently good album, but I do think Stained Class had higher highs, but also lower lows. I'm fine with a 7 or 7.5.
Yeah, let's split the difference.
Well, then you're wrong. All right, so that's a 7.5.
Yeah,
7.5.
5, baby.
All right, that's a slight regression after Stained Class. I guess the highs.
I mean, in all fairness, it's 34 minutes and like commercial to the core, but in a they don't quite have that yet way.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but without this album, you wouldn't have Manowar.
Yeah,
And they had a good run.
And I think if you think about the Priest catalog, they do sort of have a transitional album between each of their eras. So then you get British Steel, and it's really clarified. For the more heavy era we're in now, you have Ram It Down, which we'll find out about soon.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. All right. So until next time, Metal Nation.
I jump his bones.
Cast them down.
Next Judas Priest album will be Unleashed in the East, which I also have on vinyl.
Oh, I thought you were describing the album. That's its name.
That is its name. And I got, I think I have Painkiller, and that's it. I have 2 different CD copies of British Steel, though.
Yeah, I guess I do too. Yeah, with the shitty blood-soaked art.
Yeah. Yep. That's the second
Talk
one.
about that.
But that's next time.
Good night, everybody.
Freddie Mercury famously used.
Oh, what?
What did he use, Doug?
I don't know. We'll never find out.
Man, remember when that was on Jock Jams?
Is he back?
Is he back? He doesn't do anything.
Oh, wait. I can do that. I'm going to leave all this in.
I mean, he looks very serious.
Yeah. Say something lighthearted and let's see if he changes his seriousness.
So then I said,
anything?
"Oh, I stepped on the tape."
This?
Just do anything?
That's the tape.
Yep.
Let me take a sip of my old drink. Oh, and he's gone.
He's gone. Oh, I don't have that one. And he's gone.
Just have a tape show where we just play tapes and comment on them. Like,
I mean, that was the end of a recent Patreon.
who could it be now?
I don't know, but
A succulent Chinese meal.
Hey, Tim,
maybe
remember
my
when
DoorDash
Casey
is here.
Downey, invented dropping off of the podcast.
yeah, he did. He dropped off of Judas Priest. Hey, Doug's back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that was a short applause for you. Oh, and he's frozen again.
He's back.
He's back. The internet connection in that Gather podcast studio must not be working out.
Oh, God damn it.
You were saying, oh no. We should leave this in.
Dude, he's so serious, too. Good news, Tim. I've almost listened to the whole album now.
Hold on. Quit. What else is using the internet?
Oh, turn off your Bitcoin miner, Doug.
But I have the whole server array thing.
See, we talked about Napster, and he started downloading every album he ever wanted.
Yeah.
For only $10.99 a
If
month.
that holds.
So you were saying they used something and then
Freddie Mercury
what are you
used.
talking about?
So Freddie
Start over.
Mercury famously uses a microphone stand without the bass.